You ever been on one of those projects that just seems to drag on and on? Where the plan feels totally out of date the minute you actually start working? Well, today we are unpacking Scrum. It's the framework that was literally designed to fix that exact problem. And it's completely changed how teams build things, especially in the tech world. Yeah, it really boils down to this one huge question. How in the world do you build something complex, something new and innovative, when you know you can't possibly have a perfect detailed plan from day one? Scrum is the answer to that question. To really wrap our heads around Scrum, we first need to take a look at what it replaced. We're talking about a massive shift in thinking here, moving away from the old, rigid waterfall method to the super flexible, fast-paced sprint. For, decades, the only way to do things was the waterfall method. It was this really rigid, step-by-step process. You'd spend months just planning, then months building, and then months testing. And the fatal flaw? You often wouldn't find out you'd built the wrong thing until the very, very end, right when all the time and money was gone. Scrum just flips this whole model on its head. You work in these short little cycles, maybe 1 to 4 weeks, so you can spot problems and change course almost instantly. So let's put a proper definition on it. Scrum is a framework. It's a way to tackle massive projects by breaking them down into these small bite-sized pieces called sprints. Now, the key word here, and you're going to hear it a lot, is adaptive. This isn't just about going faster. It's about having a system that actually expects change and can roll with the punches, instead of getting knocked out by them. Okay, so that's the what, but who's actually doing the work? Let's meet the core Scrum team. It's a pretty small and focused group. The team structure is actually super simple, and that's by design. It's all built around just 3 key roles: the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the team. You can think of them like the 3 legs of a stool. You need all 3 to keep the project steady and moving forward. First up, we have the product owner. This person is the visionary. They are the voice of the customer, the voice of the business, all rolled into one. If the project is a ship, the product owner is the captain. They decide on the destination, and they're the ones who prioritize what gets built and when. Next, you've got the Scrum Master, and this role gets misunderstood all the time. People think they're the boss, the project manager, but they're not. They're more like a coach for the team. Their main job is to protect the Scrum process, clear any roadblocks that get in the team's way, and just make sure everything is running as smoothly as possible. And finally, of course, you have the team itself. These are the builders, the implementers, your designers, your engineers, all the specialists who are actually doing the hands-on work. And what's really important is that they are self-organizing. They are the experts, and they're the ones who figure out how to turn the product owner's vision into a real working product. All right, so we've met the players. Now, what's their playbook? Let's take a look at the key documents, or what Scrum calls artifacts, that guide all the work. So there are 3 core artifacts that keep everybody aligned. You have the product backlog, that's the master plan for the whole project. Then there's the sprint backlog, which is the plan for just right now. And finally, the burn down chart, which is just a simple little graph that shows you, hey, are we on track to finish everything this sprint? These aren't just documents that sit on a shelf. They are living, breathing tools. The product backlog is basically the single source of truth for the entire project. Think of it like a giant prioritized wish list. It has every single feature, every requirement, every idea, everything from build a login system to change the color of a button. And it's always changing and evolving as the team learns more. So how do you take a big idea from that giant list and turn it into something the team can actually build? Well, you use this incredibly simple but powerful little format called a user story. It's always, as a type of user, I need to do something so that I can get some kind of benefit. This is a game changer because it forces everyone to stop thinking about just technical stuff and start focusing on the actual value they're delivering to a person. And here's what that looks like in practice. Instead of a vague task like build login, a user story gives you crystal clarity. As a general user, I need to log in so that I can access the website's backend. Bam, the team knows exactly who they're building for and why it matters. It's this intense focus on the user that makes the whole process work so well. Okay, we've got the team, we've got the playbook. Now it's time to put it all into motion. Let's break down the heart of Scrum, the sprint itself. Every single sprint follows the same rhythm, the same pattern of events. It all kicks off with sprint planning, where the team decides what to build. Then you have the daily Scrum to keep the work moving. And it all wraps up with a sprint review, where the team gets to show off everything they've accomplished.
sprint planning is really where the magic begins. This is where the whole team gets together, looks at that giant product backlog, and pulls off a small chunk of the highest priority items to work on. That selection becomes the sprint backlog. It's the to-do list for this sprint and this sprint only. So as you can see, a critical login feature is going to get picked way before something like beautiful admin graphics.
And all of this work happens inside the sprint, a fixed, non-negotiable period of time, usually between 1 and 4 weeks long. And here's the golden rule: that deadline never moves. That constraint creates an intense focus and a predictable rhythm of delivery that the whole company can rely on. So while the sprint is going on, the team's progress is usually up on a board for everyone to see. Each task, each user story moves from the to-do column over to in progress and then finally, hopefully, to complete. It's just a really simple, transparent way for anyone to see exactly where things are at any given moment. Now, the engine that keeps those tasks moving across the board is the daily Scrum. It's a super quick 15-minute meeting for the team and the Scrum Master. And let me be clear, this is not a status report for a boss. It's a quick sync-up for the team, by the team, to make sure they're on the same page and to clear out any problems immediately. Okay, so you do this over and over, sprint after sprint. What's the point? What's the big payoff for all this structure? Let's talk about the Agile advantage. The benefits here are just huge. Because you're working in these small cycles, you deliver useful stuff to your customers way faster. You catch problems when they're small and cheap to fix, not at the end of a 6-month disaster. And most importantly, you can pivot. If the market changes or you learn something new, you can adjust your plan in the very next sprint. It's all about these valuable micro-releases instead of one giant high-stakes launch. So what you end up with is this incredibly powerful feedback loop. You're always in the cycle of planning, building, and testing, which means the team gets smarter and better with every single sprint. The goal isn't to have a perfect plan from the start. It's to have a nearly perfect process for dealing with the fact that reality is messy and unpredictable. And that really gets to the heart of it. A lot of the old ways of working have a tendency to hide problems until it's way too late. Scrum is designed to do the opposite. It brings problems to the surface fast. So the question I'll leave you with is this: what could you and your team achieve if you had the power to truly adapt and improve every couple of weeks?